Okay, guys, super Jill. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm sat here with Jill Ray from our East Site. We were just going to have a little bit of a chat about your experience in your life following Jesus in the workplace and how we can unpack some of John's teaching that he's just shared with us in the Beatitudes and the teachings of Jesus, how to include them in your work life. So, mainly around mercy. We're talking to the lawyer about mercy, which that's quite unique. I don't know if most people would associate mercy with a lawyer, but you're very merciful. So can you just, so you were on this trajectory in your life where you were going to become a corporate lawyer,
Yes, that's right.
but you had an experience that changed that. Can you tell us a little bit about that? What happened?
Yes, so then when it came to do my trading contract, I think I rethought. I didn't think I wanted to go to London, looked around more Belfast down at home, and ended up with a placement in Rathcoole where I'd done some work over the summer vacation, and felt a real connection to the people there. It was a nice office and a huge amount of demand, a very busy office with a lot of need there. We did criminal law. We had a lot of family law as well, sadly domestic violence, relationships breakdown, and I just felt, gosh, these people, life can be very different for others, and it put into perspective just how lucky I'd been up until that stage, with a very stable family, and I realised that if people didn't have that, then it can have an adverse effect on the next stages in their life, which is concerning. And I thought that perhaps I could do something to help them.
Which is, how big a shift is that? Do you know what I mean? Like, is it, like, so did you have a dream of going into the corporate world or whatever? Like, what was it, was it the potential of influencing people's lives or changing people's lives that's what led you into that?
Yes, I think I realised, and I now know sort of later on in my career, that I do like working with people. I like to try and solve problems and be with people. I'm not really that much interested in reading reams of pages and things. I'd much rather meet somebody,
Right.
see what their issues are, and hopefully if I can't help them, maybe I can put them in the right direction and just maybe make a difference in their life.
Yeah. See, it's a beautiful way of including the teachings of Jesus in your work life, where you're able to be somebody that shows mercy, not only shows mercy, but actually advocates for others that don't have the potential. Like, what in a role like that, what do you deal with if you're able to share that, right? Like, what does that look like as a lawyer?
Well, yes, for perhaps very often the woman who's been subject to domestic abuse, then, that person may have issues with where they're going to live, where their children are going to live. They've lost their confidence, they've maybe lost financial security, and you're trying to help them reestablish that, which can be a huge task for them. But if I can do a little bit just to support them and point them in the right direction, then that would be my hope.
That's just, it's inspiring to me about how you chose to do that. But you had a very different upbringing, right? So can you tell us, like, you noticed, oh, I didn't have this, so that almost spurred you on. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, because I think then when I saw other cases where there were difficulties with how children were being cared for, perhaps not being fed properly or looked after properly or even hurt, then that was a shock to me that this was happening. If you're not aware of it, it can be a real shock, and that was beyond my comprehension of my own personal experience. And it was something that I really felt I needed to do something to prevent or to improve the lives of those children.
I love that, right? Because when we start to follow Jesus and fully embrace his message to us about advocating for people, about going and showing mercy to others, it leads us to places we never really thought we would go. So you're obviously married to Gary.
That's right.
What are some of the things then that you guys do together that you've sort of continued on this journey?
Yes, through the church we had worked with the Red Cross, and they were trying to help people who were refugees who were living here, just to help them integrate into society. So our first family were from Somalia, and it was a husband who had been here 2 years on his own before his wife and two little children were able to join him. And we got to meet them, and it really just opened my eyes to their personal plight and just how what they'd been through and what they were hoping for in this new society, and perhaps some of the barriers they may face here. So we got a real eye-opening into just sort of what people want from community, just so that they could be part of the community, and they want to give as much as they can, so that the community works well for them. And we've befriended other families, and then ultimately when we were looking at fostering, we were asked if we would look after a young mum with her 3-year-old from Eritrea. And I think because we'd had that experience, we were more open to that. And we had a wonderful experience, and 3 years on, they're kind of part of our family now.
Wow. So you've opened your home to people. It's not just in the workplace now, it's you guys in your private lives as well. You've touched on this a little bit there, but for those listening and they're like, okay, Jill, how do I, in my place of work or in my life, sort of embrace a life following Jesus and bring it into the workplace? What would you say to them?
I think just be open to new experiences, and sort of one step at a time, do say yes to things, and hopefully they will work out well. And if you have a positive experience, then it encourages you to do more.
Because you would never have, so fostering maybe would never have been something you thought you guys would be able to do, but your first step was the Red Cross opportunity, is that right? And then...
Well, yes, I think we'd thought about the fostering, and I was very mindful of having worked with children who needed to be fostered, the need. We knew it would be a challenge, so we were happy to try that. Thought we'd try it, maybe respite, but the need is so great that it was more than that.
Right.
But we did it, and we had a wonderful experience.
Yeah. Thank you for following Jesus in your place of work and at home with Gary and everything that you guys put your hand to. And just thank you for sharing a little snapshot of that with us. And hopefully that then sets you guys up for some conversations around what does it look like to put into practice the teachings of Jesus from what we've just heard. So thanks for joining us. Bless you, and we will see you very soon.